What's going on, guys? Welcome back. Now in today's video we're going to be doing a Magika nightblade build for the Dark Brotherhood patch. Nothing is really changed, so I'm just going to throw it out there just to help anybody out that's trying to do a Magika nightblade build. But as you can see on our front bar, we're running Impale, Shadowy Disguise, Sap Essence, Concealed Weapon, and Swallow Soul, and then Soul Tether as an ultimate. Now real quick, we're just going to go over why we're running these specific skills. So Impale, we're running Impale not only because it's the only execution you get as a nightblade, but because it's really OP in the leveling phase of your in the grinding phase of a nightblade. It hits harder and harder with each level, and then it continues to get harder, hits harder. Next, we got Shadowy Disguise. Now we're running Shadowy Disguise because of the guaranteed crit that we can get while invisible using this skill. I love it, dude, especially with the fact that this guy's a Zerg bomber. Next up, we got Sap Essence. Now we're running Sap Essence for two things. It's our only AoE, and it gives us major sorcery, increasing our spell damage by 20% when we hit an ad. So we're going to be buffing up quite a bit while using this skill. So it's a great AoE. On top of that, it's a buff too. Next, we got Concealed Weapon. We're running Concealed Weapon for multiple reasons. It hits hard as hell. It makes you move 30% faster while you have it slotted and you're using invisibility. And I just love the skill. I mean, I'm hitting enemies for 17k with this skill, while stealth didn't have all my shit procced. And it just hits really hard. Nothing more to it. It's a really big burst. It's a burst move. You hit that a couple times and somebody's gonna die. Next, we got Swallow Soul. We're running Swallow Soul only because of the 20% heal it gives, and then it's great for just draining the health out of people. If you hit a Concealed Weapon while invisible, you're gonna CC somebody. Then you just spam Swallow Soul until you can hit your Executioner. Next, we got Soul Tether. I absolutely love this skill without a doubt for two reasons. It hits really hard, and then it CCs people. So I love this skill. Next, we're running on our back bar, which is our Resto Staff. We're running Healing Ward. We're running Grim Focus, Blur, Harness Magika, Rapid Maneuvers, and as our ultimate, it is Consuming Darkness. So really quick, we're just going to go over why we're using these skills. You could instead of rapids, because I use rapids just to move faster, you put immovable on your bar, just for that increased the increased physical and spell resistance. And I'm gonna go over that again in a moment, but we're gonna start off with our Healing Ward. Now we're using Healing Ward because that's gonna be your major heal. Unlike with Sap Essence and Swallow Soul, sure, it may heal you, but it's not healing you a lot overall. So we use this, and what we do is, if we're real low health, we're going to cast a Healing Ward, and then we're going to cast a Harness Magika right behind it. And I'm going to explain why we do Harness Magika right behind the Healing Ward. Next up, we got Grim Focus. Now Grim Focus, we're using it for the 8% damage increase that we get from it for 20 seconds. And the fact that if you do 4 heavy attacks or 4 light attacks, it does give you the Spectral Bow, which hits for 10k. But if you're buffed up enough, I've made this Spectral Bow hit for 25k. So I'm using that as a single target fighting. However, if you're planning on going out zerging, which is what I do most of the time, but I do find myself in a 1v1 situation, I'll switch Grim Focus out for Proxy Debt, and I'll use that instead. And at the end of the video, if you're trying to Zerg bomb with a Nightblade, I'll real quickly tell you the rotation you want to do with it. Next, we got Blur. Now the only reason we're running Blur is for the fact that 20% dodge chance increase. Now the reason we use this is because we cast this before we jump into a Zerg of reds or yellows. Or reds or blues. Because should one of them notice me in the middle of teleporting strike in, that's going to increase my dodge chance. Next, we got Harness Magika. Now, this skill I was extremely excited for in the Dark Brotherhood patch for one reason. They gave this skill a huge buff. And I'm not talking about increasing it to how much damage it takes. If you noticed before, it said that you would surround yourself with a net of magic, that absorbs up to 11k spell damage. Now, it says just damage, and what this means, it absorbs both physical and spell damage. And as well as giving you magic back when you absorb up to 3 spell damage attacks. And which increases by 3% for each piece of armor you're wearing. In our case, it's 3 times 5, that's 15, or 15% increase. The reason I say 15 is because we're doing a 5-1-1, and you'll understand what that means if you don't know what it means. We'll explain what that means in a bit, but this is a must-have skill for Magika builds. Hands down, must have this skill on your bar. Preferably your back bar, which would generally be your buff bar. Next, we're running a movable. As I stated before, the only reason we're running this is because of the increased physical resistance and the increased spell resistance by 5k for 12 seconds. On top of that, you get a sweet buffer at the end of it too, which is you have an immunity to knockback and disabling effects for 5 seconds. Next, Consuming Darkness. Now, the only reason we're running this skill is as a backup heal. In case I'm in a dungeon and we happen to have a shitty healer and we're all about to die, I'll cast out on the floor, which my teammates can activate a synergy. And not only does it reduce the movement speed of the ads as well, but it also increases our speed by 50% and reduces the damage we take by 30%. As well as if one of our teammates activate this skill, you get a 19k heal over 6 seconds. Actually, no, I think it's 4 seconds. Honestly, I think it's 4 seconds. But that's a 19k heal for over 4 seconds. That's absolutely amazing. So this is just like our oh shit button. This is, well, at least for me, this is my oh shit button. Next up, we're going to do champion points. Now, we're going to start off with the Thief. And we're pitting 97 points into Arcanus. Now, the reason I say 97 is because recovery effects only activate on a 0.5. And what I mean by that is if you have 100 in your bar on your Arcanus, it's going to say you're getting magic recovery for 25%, but it's really only it's only giving you 24.5%. So we're pinning 97, we're still getting the effect of pinning 100 in there, and then we get 3 more skill points, 3 more champ points to spend elsewhere. In which case we're going to be putting the rest into Magician for reduced magic costs of spells. Next, we've got 100 points in the Elemental Expert, and then we're going to put the rest of our points into Spell Erosion. Now, we're running Elemental Expert because it's just going to make us hit even harder. So stuff like Proxy Det and Soul Tether, when that hits, that's hitting for 25% harder. And then we're running Spell Erosion to make our spells penetrate harder, which means our Soul Tether, Proxy Det, and Sap Essence combo, that's just going to that's going to penetrate through the armor even better than it already does. You could of course run other combinations, but that's the combination I prefer. Next, we're putting 46 points into Quick Recovery for a 10% effectiveness in healing received, only because in the leveling process you're going to be quite squishy. So we put that there, put 46 in there for that 10% bonus, and then since you're going to be using you'd be using a full bar of siphoning attacks. You're going to have Swallow Soul on your bar, which is going to heal you for 27% automatically. So that's just going to make your Swallow Soul heal you for more, healing you for 37% more until you get Sap Essence. Next, we've got to, we're splitting our champ points evenly between Hardy and Elemental Defender. And that's your setup. Simple as that. Let's just get this point right here. But as simple as that, of course you can run your champion points however you feel necessary. I run it that way because it seems more effective to me. Alright, next up we're gonna go quickly do the the armor setup. And the armor setup is quite easy. It's nothing really expensive from the armor set except for the PvP set. So real quick, I'm wrong thing. We're obviously running all points into Magika, and then we're running the Shadow Mundus Stone for that crit strike damage, which is going to be quite helpful later on in the game. But enough of that, let's go straight into armor. Now, running a 5-piece Julianos. Let me just switch to my front bar real quick. Alright, so we're running a 5-piece Julianos and a 5-piece Clever Alchemist. And you're going to see the use of Clever Alchemist in a moment. So we're running Julianos for 2 reasons. It's great for dungeons, and it has the increased spell damage. So real quick, as you can see, I just switched to my back bar and I procced a potion and my arms are glowing. That's the effect of Alchemist. And with Alchemist, it increases your spell damage by 600 and something. So it's a great skill. You're gonna always run this on your bar, regardless if you're doing PvP or not. So pretty much you just sap essence the enemy, switch to your back bar, proc Alchemist, switch back to your front bar, hit sap essence, and then you're gonna get that spell increase. Alright, so Julianos, that's not a permanent. We're swapping that out for our Vicious Death set when we go Zerg bombing. And real quick, as you see, I have 2 pieces that are heavy and medium. So we did the chest heavy and the legs medium for the Undaunted passives. I recommend you do the same. That's just going to make you a bit more tankier, give you more resources to spend. Alright, so real quick, put our Vicious Death set on. All you're doing with the Vicious Death set is you're replacing your Juliano set. Make sure if you're doing this, you have to get the Vicious Death pieces and divines. And then on my swords, I run 1 sharpen and 1 precise. So the reason I do that is because it's going to help penetrate through their armor. My spells are going to penetrate through their armor easier, and it's going to hit them harder as well. So as you've noticed, I switched out of my 5-1-1, and I'm running all 7 light. Also, you should definitely be running a 3-piece willpower set, all arcane of course. These sets aren't that too expensive. I think the most expensive part of it is the rings, which are going for I think like 30-40k. So and then the necklace you can easily find that for 10k. So real quick, we're gonna put our PvE armor back on, and that's it for armor. Yeah, I think that's it for armor, you guys. Now, you can get these sets made, or you can make these yourself. The Clever Alchemist and Julianos, you can get those made, or you can make them yourself. For Julianos, you need 6 trait. For Clever Alchemist, I think it's 7 trait. So I definitely recommend you go get that made for you. You can run that through the entire game, because that's what I did. Now, real quick, just going to tell you how your combo would work for Zerg bombing. So what you would do is you would go hidden, make sure oh yeah, I forgot to say, you also need Lotus Fan. Forgot to mention that. I don't have it on my bar right now, but you need Lotus Fan. And make sure you have Proxy Debt on your back bar. In Lotus Fan, you're going to swap that for Concealed Weapon. So what you would do is you're going to go stealth, make sure nobody can see you. You're going to cast Proxy Debt. Proxy Debt has an 8-second timer now with the update. So you're going to count to 6. You're going to Lotus Fan in, drop a Soul Tether. As soon as that Soul Tether hits, Proxy Debt's going off, then your Sap Essence Vicious Death is going to activate. Simple as that. Bang, bang, bang. It's all going to happen right after their other. Sap Essence, Proxy Debt's going off, Soul Tether, etc. Anyways, guys, that's it for this video. Just remember to like, share, and subscribe. As always, Fire Magic Gaming out.